Perfect.
Jeez.
So joining me today are Danielle Nova and Adam Bramlage. Danielle has a long pedigree in the psychedelic space. She's the founder of Psychedelic Recovery, the executive director of San Francisco Psychedelic Society, and a dedicated trainer and guide in the psychedelic field, specialized in addiction recovery, microdosing, and spiritual transformation. With a global impact, Danielle has provided psychedelic educational programs for over 15,000 individuals worldwide. She was on the founding team of Decriminalize Nature Oakland and has been featured in notable outlets like CBS News and MAP Psychedelic Science Conference. Most recently, she helped co-found Flow State Micro, a 4-month microdosing facilitator program. She is a true trailblazer in psychedelic advocacy and addiction treatment, and I can't say how excited we are to have her here. We are also joined by Adam Bramlage, the founder and CEO of Flow State Micro. Adam works daily as an educator, coaching clients on performance enhancement, diet, meditation, neutral thinking, and flow state optimization. He spent more than a decade as an advocate, farmer, distributor, and manufacturer in the California legal cannabis space, and then pivoted into psychedelics after he successfully used microdosing to cure his own treatment-resistant depression and enhance his physical and mental performance. Welcome to you both. Thank you for being here.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having us.
So let's kick off. You have both started a microdosing facilitator training program. What's that all about? What's your mission and vision?
We're really excited to share with your community about the microdosing facilitator training. This is the first training program in North America. That's a 4-month training program to empower both existing practitioners in the psychedelic space and new facilitators in the space with the ethical standards, operating procedures, guidelines, and most up-to-date high-level information about microdosing research, understanding of how psilocybin affects the brain, microdosing psilocybin strains. It's the most comprehensive training program on microdosing that exists to date. And our mission is to empower millions of practitioners around the globe with how to guide their clients through microdosing experiences.
Nice. So, in addition to coaching and teaching thousands of people about best practices for the safe and effective use of microdosing, you are offering this training program. Why? What drove you to create it?
Yeah, both Danielle and I have worked together for years educating people on microdosing. And over the years, we've been contacted by dozens of professionals, not only in the medical field, but also in the psychedelic space, from large dose facilitators to medical doctors to therapists to nurses to coaches, yoga teachers, Reiki masters. We've had all kinds of people reach out to us with an interest in learning how to facilitate the microdosing experience for others. So for us, it was important that we began to professionalize microdosing and we began to standardize the practices of microdosing facilitation.
Nice. So you've already alluded to some information about the program, but I'd love to delve a little deeper. So it sounds to me like you're working with pretty much anyone who's interested in microdosing coaching. Is that like becoming a facilitator? Is that correct? Or do you sort of have ideal candidates for the program?
We do. We're very open to people that are new to the psychedelic space. However, we do have an ideal sense of who our dream clients are. Ideally people that have some type of relationship or interest in microdosing and understand its potential, and understand not only that it's a powerful tool for transformation for individuals, but how and they see a need for a facilitator and the role that a facilitator can play when it comes to guiding others through a microdosing experience. We're open to people of all different professions and existing, from licensed therapists to doctors to clinicians, but also Reiki masters and massage therapists and acupuncturists, or people, executive coaches, or even health nutrition practitioners. We're really open to people from all walks of life and professions that are wanting to add on microdosing to their existing practice. And we're open to people that have done a lot of inner work on themselves and come to a place where they're ready to hold space for other people in a sustainable way. Microdosing facilitation is a really great, career for an entry point into the psychedelic field for people that's sustainable and is not as labor intensive as being a psychedelic guide can be for some people of larger dose experiences.
Yeah, so agree. We hear like really good feedback about people using this as a springboard and potentially even, like you said, good creation of a full career path. So if people are studying with you, what can they expect to learn?
They can expect to learn the best practices of microdosing. They're going to learn the science behind microdosing and psilocybin and LSD in the brain, how it works on areas like the default mode network. They're going to learn about the ancient use of psychedelics among humans and animals. They're going to learn about all kinds of different psychedelic facilitation techniques. Danielle, what else are they going to be learning?
This is the first training program in the world that trains our facilitators how to use microdosing as a tool for medication withdrawal and interrupting addiction, which we see is such a huge need in the space. There's millions of people that are struggling on psychiatric medications, don't know how to come off of them, and don't know where to go or who to speak to about that process or how to safely create an off-ramp of these psychiatric medications or, harder addictions, both with substance addiction or process addictions. And our training program empowers facilitators to be able to guide people through that process. We also educate around contraindications when, combining microdosing with other psychiatric or pharmaceutical medications. We have a session specifically focused on speaking to your client as about microdosing as a clinician, how to navigate that legality without, risking your license. We have harm reduction as a focus of this training program, justice, equity, and inclusion. Stephen Huang from MAPS is going to be speaking about that. We also are very excited. This is the first training in the world that brings microdosing and psychedelic research from the underground to the public format. So Hyphae Labs is pioneering the research that's currently being done on psilocybin mushroom strains in the field. They do potency testing. They work with thousands of people around in decriminalized areas testing, what are the substances that are people actually using, and how do we empower practitioners with the knowledge to be able to safely guide people through microdosing experiences, which psilocybin strains are more appropriate for microdosing or more appropriate for macrodosing. We have Dr. Jim Fadiman, who popularized modern microdosing into the public consciousness, who's going to be showing up twice for the training program, both to give a keynote presentation, but also to answer questions and guide people through that process. We have an incredible team of practitioners, from ethics to understanding our sexual selves to what to do when it's a really crisis situation with microdosing, and how to navigate through that process, and even how to speak to your clients that are parents and using microdosing to improve themselves as a parent or a mom. So it's a very holistic program. There's so many different facets that we're covering, and we're really excited about the incredible guest teachers that we've brought to facilitate this program.
Oh my gosh, you should be. It sounds like a super conference. It sounds like you really put a lot of thought and love into the creation of this, and you're hitting so many of the high points that people don't always realize that microdosing is efficient or efficacious for. So I'm really excited to hear that. So you've got a cohort coming up, is that correct? When is that kicking off?
We are kicking off July 14th, correct, Danielle?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, coming up soon. And sorry, it was 6 weeks, is that right? 6 months?
It's 4 months.
4 months. Got it. So July 14th to August, September, November, I guess.
Yeah, early November.
Got it. That's perfect. What does it cost?
It's $37.50 for the cost for 4 months. So that breaks down to, roughly around $100 a class. And yeah, all the classes are live, and they're live on Zoom. So you really get to meet your teachers, ask them questions, build with them. We want to create a network, not only amongst the participants that are going through the program, but the participants and the teachers. So they have access to the researchers, to the thought leaders, the experts in the space, and to, build that mentorship. It's so important that we have other people to guide us through the process. We have payment plans, and then we also have a premium option that we're offering where people can take the training program and then they can have 4 months of coaching with Adam and I to get them started to activate their microdosing business.
That's so cool because it does speak to one of the other questions I had for you, which is, right, whether you provide hands-on skills training or practice sessions or role playing, that sort of stuff. So that is an option, it sounds like.
That is, yeah. We have practice sessions. The last month of the training program is all focused on the practicum. We're going to be partnering people in the course. They're going to see role play facilitation sessions, but also get to practice with each other. And if they want, they can, start to microdose and take themselves through a microdosing protocol. We even have some of our teachers that are teaching the program are taking themselves through the microdosing protocol to develop a lot of the training materials. So it's a really hands-on program. We want people to have that intimate experience with the process so that they can translate that to better support their clients. And we are offering the Guides Collective $250 off as a gift to join the program. So you will have the affiliate code as well to offer your beautiful community.
That is awesome. Thank you. I will publicize all that information when we post, but super grateful. Our community really does ask for entry points into how they can begin facilitating, and it feels to me like this is just such a perfect springing off point. So thank you. So how big are the cohorts? How many people are studying at the same time?
That's a great question. So far, we have around 15 to 20 people, and we're still a month out from the training program. So we're going to see, what the first cohort looks like. And so it's small, it's intimate for the first cohort, and we're just, open to whoever is wanting to build with us and join this incredible training program. And, while making it accessible, we're making it very accessible for people, and but also intimate, so people can have that support as they're going through the training program. They get to know each other, and it's a really beautiful opportunity to build lifelong friendships and alliances in this space.
Yeah, which is critical, we all know. I mean, nobody's working in this space in isolation. And like you were saying before, right, having mentorship opportunities, case reviews, peer reviews, just the opportunity to get that kind of support, knowing you have a community, it's beautiful. Thank you. So, it sounds to me like in addition to providing this training, that you actually are trying to make sure that the people who go through the program are set up for success if they choose to practice as facilitators. So I'm curious if there are additional resources that you offer to the students that would support them in setting up their own practice.
Absolutely. We're going to be offering them the microdosing facilitator training manual, which we're really excited about. This is first of its kind training manual for microdosing facilitators. It's going to have everything they need to run through the process of facilitating their clients one by one. We're talking about medical intake forms, psychedelic intake forms, all kinds of different questionnaires you're going to need. On top of the manual, we're going to be providing a one-of-a-kind journal as well that's going to have dozens of incredible prompts to begin and support an individual on the microdosing experience. Those are two things that our practitioners will take with them into their future career and begin to use every time they work with a client. Danielle, what else will they be getting?
The manual is very comprehensive. So as Adam was speaking about, it has the intake forms, but it also has a step-by-step process of from when you first start to a client to how to actually guide them through a protocol. After every class that we have with our 16 guest teachers, it's going to have a very comprehensive overview of all the materials that were shared in that class, so people can go back and study those materials and have them for the rest of their lives. And it's the first compilation of so many different aspects of the microdosing guiding experience put into one manual, which is really exciting, to be able to have that, to really professionalize the field. Like, that's part of our mission. Is just like with high dose experiences, those of us that have been working in the psychedelic field understand that adding framework, intention, support, accountability, that's an important part of psychedelic and microdosing experiences. Larger dose journeys are just as important. Microdosing is just as important as larger dose journeys to have that framework around for practitioners. And so we provide that a checklist for the practitioners to go through with their clients. We're also going to have a network. So we have a private group that's a part of the training where practitioners can process their caseloads with each other. They can ask questions, process the course materials, and having that ongoing, buzzing community is really exciting to have as a part of going through this program. We empower all of our facilitators as a part of the training to focus on their specific niche. So each person, generally we see your pain is your portal to your purpose. So, we're going to be teaching about how to hone on your niche in this training, and each person that takes the training will develop a final project that they can, that they will present to us, but also that they can take with them to help start their microdosing business. We're going to have a final assessment. And yeah, I think, both with the training, the manual, the intake forms, the journal not only empowers the practitioner, but it's also something that they can give to their clients. So they have ongoing questions that they can ask their clients, journal prompts, and the journal is an activation for transformation. It's really a booklet that empowers practitioners how to use microdosing as a skill, not a magic pill, but as a skill to transform and take their clients through that transformational process.
Wow.
And our students will also be able to watch the videos of the lectures on their own time and their own schedule. They can watch them back as many times as they want. And again, Danielle mentioned that this manual will have the transcripts of all of these lectures by 14 of the world's leading experts. So not only can people watch them on screen as many times as they want, they can highlight them within their manual, and they will literally have the lecture in words for the rest of their life. So we're really offering quite a bit to those that take the course and graduate with us.
Yeah, no, it's super rich. I mean, it feels to me like you've solved for one of the challenges that not all of the training programs have yet thought through, which is how do we apply this training in the real world? And Danielle, your comment around like being able to support people in a focus area, like in a specific niche, we provide a marketing program, and it's pretty much our first recommendation is figure out where you specialize so that people understand when they're searching for help what you can help them with. And it's just like so beautiful that it's aligned that way, that you're training them not only in how to act as facilitators but how to succeed in a career. So thank you. It's an important piece. So look, you guys are super experienced, obviously. You've got ample experience and expertise in the space. And I'm just kind of want to pick your brain about where you think things have been and where they're going. Like, how have things changed in the psychedelic field since you first started working here?
I'll go first. I've seen just in a little over 6 or 7 years, the interest increase exponentially. I can't even tell you how much more popular the use of microdosing specifically has grown in the last few years. And what I find is that there are more and more professionals reaching out to me for guidance and needing support. I'm also finding that microdosing is the most safe and effective way for people to enter into the psychedelic space, especially a lot of people who've never used psychedelics before. Um, and I think that we're going to need more microdosing facilitators in the future than we may even need large dose facilitators. So we really wanted to start that conversation of professionalizing and standardizing this practice and growing this community, because the community right now is somewhat underground, and we'd love to bring it above ground and into the light, because we're really finding that microdosing is effective for so many things. You know, my niche is I'm working with people with mental health, depression, and anxiety, and we're having huge success, but people are using it for performance. They're using it for creativity. Sometimes they're using it to figure out what their purpose and niche is in the world. So we're really excited to bring this program out to the public. It's something that the professional medical and psychedelic community has been asking for, and it's time.
So well said. How about you, Danielle? What have you seen change?
I think we're sort of in like the fifth wave, fourth or fifth wave of psychedelics. So as Adam has inspired me to understand, the first wave was the animal use of psychedelics. They are the original OGs. They're the original ancestors and psychedelic teachers. And then, the second wave was the indigenous use and ancient spiritual ritual, religious use of psychedelics. After that was more of the hippie movement of psychedelics. Then we saw the resurgence of a lot of the research coming online. And now I think uh, for a while it was just this buzzing excitement around psychedelics, but we're part of stewarding a movement of, a lot of us are stewarding the safe and responsible use. We're here to mature the field of psychedelics and bring it through sort of like that infancy phase into the teenage years, into the maturity, and equipping it to really be taken seriously. But so I do see that there's sort of this evolution of the professionalization of psychedelics, whether it's through training programs or taking people through processes with integration and support and preparation. Like, it feels very well held and intentional. And I do see that, even beyond that, we're probably going to see reverent recreation use. I see a lot of that where like recreation is just as healing as it is to really take this seriously in a guided session. And how do we use these experiences, to enjoy what it means to be a human and to be on Earth. And I'm excited about the creativity piece. Like, we have Laura Dawn speaking about creativity. Dr. Manesh Gurn is one of our guest teachers, and he's going to be engaging. He's actually already engaged in creativity research, like how to use psychedelics to improve creativity. I live in Silicon Valley, I grew up there. I grew up next to Facebook and HP, and Silicon Valley was birthed on psychedelic microdosing. So I'm excited about sort of like where we're at with AI right now and how microdosing can be a tool for expanding what it means to be a human being, and technology, and just so many aspects of the human existence that can be aided and supported through neurogenesis and microdosing. I'm really just excited about the potential of where we're going, and we're really at the infancy phase right now of how we understand how psychedelics work on the human brain and the psyche, but also on spiritual, emotional, neuroplastic levels. So I'm excited, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this training program can translate for the practitioners that go through this program, because something that we see as a huge need is practitioners to, we see our program as a tool of harm reduction, right? So it's completely legal to be a microdosing facilitator. So if someone comes to an acupuncturist or a doctor, instead of them turning a blind eye to psychedelics or microdosing, they can actually say, hey, I know about that. I can guide you through a protocol. And that is, expanding the ethical responsibility. Like, anyone that becomes a practitioner basically takes a pledge, right? I'm going to be an ethical practitioner, and turning a blind eye to psychedelics isn't that ethical, actually. So we're really empowering practitioners with that understanding so that they can expand their skill set and, meet the needs of this rapidly growing interest in psychedelics and microdosing.
I could probably take like the next 2 hours to unpack what you just said. There was so much rich stuff in there, like starting with the whole idea of the fact that we are lacking standardization and certification in the industry, and the fact that you are making inroads to start to try to create those kind of protocols and certifications so that we can start professionalizing. We're not this. I hesitate to call the psychedelic field an industry because we lack the hallmarks of what makes up an industry. And it's these kind of things that you need to really advance and professionalize a sector to make it into something that is functional and operational. So that's an exciting piece. Your whole comment around like what I differentiate between the clinical use and the cultural use, right? The fact that we need to make inroads at a medical level because it's the only way that this is acceptable currently in society. But the fact that there's always going to be and always have been experimenters, people who are like using psychedelics to self-actualize, to touch the divine, or like Adam, you were saying, to self-improve and find, a creative outlet or become, like more physically capable. So like the fact that we can bridge all of those modalities in a way that is accessible and safe, right? The whole harm reduction piece in a way that ideally makes people allows them to navigate this space, feeling supported. And Danielle, like the idea of the medical profession potentially ignoring the use of microdosing. Yeah, I mean, people are afraid to talk to their healthcare professionals, and you're right. If people are equipped to at least respond to them without falling into an illegal space and saying, of course, I'm going to provide you with medicine, that's where the trouble comes in. But if they can provide support and advice and preparation and integration without having to walk a line, I, all we're doing is benefiting society and individuals and the profession as a whole. So I'm so grateful for the work that you're both doing, really. Um, we've got a lot of guides in our community, and a lot of them are wondering. I mean, we've all heard about some disappointments in the psychedelic space recently as well, in terms of, some of the recommendations that have come up to the FDA. So, I mean, what advice at this point would you share with people who might be thinking of working in this space?
I would say don't let the latest suggestion by the work group that suggests things to the FDA decide that that is their final ruling, because I think the FDA still gets to rule on this and we're not sure where it's going to go. But here's what we do know is that MDMA is incredibly therapeutic and healing, and it's only a matter of time before it's legalized around the country, here first, and then probably the world. I believe it's already legal in Australia. Um, so I think things are continuing to stay positive, continuing to move forward. It definitely takes time to bring these things into the general public, and I wouldn't be disheartened. And I would remind people that there is nothing illegal about being a microdosing coach or a, psychedelic integration coach if you're just coaching people, right? If you're advising them and you're supporting them, and you're not providing anything legal, illegal. It is a fully legal business. And it's happening. My latest client yesterday was super successful Silicon Valley AI millionaire who wanted to use microdosing to aid in his performance in coding and coming up with new strategies and new business ideas. So there's just more and more people coming into microdosing and psychedelics. Um, Even if the FDA rejects it this time, they're going to come back at it time and time again. It's only a matter of time. And I think within a year or two here in the state of California, that microdosing and some kind of assisted psychedelic therapy will be passed and will be allowed, similar to in Oregon and Colorado. And I would say that, this is the past. There is nothing more ancient among human and animal use than the ingestion of psychedelics in small and large doses. It was driven underground by the Spanish Inquisition, by, the Roman Catholic Church, most recently by the Nixon war on drugs. and it's coming back to the light. And there's nothing more natural for our healing and use than psychedelics, which is why it's important that we educate people and we standardize it and we professionalize it. And I am really excited for the future. And there's a huge industry that awaits people in the microdosing facilitation world.
I believe that. Danielle, you?
So well said. Thank you, Adam. You know, the revolution will not just be medicalized.
Yeah.
It's medicalization of psychedelics is one path, and I see that it's a fractal, it's a tree of life. I like to work with sacred geometry, and it's going to be multiple pathways. So that's what really excites me, that there's going to be multiple access points for people. And now is the time. Now is the time for anyone considering to join the psychedelic field. If you feel the call, now is the time. It feels like there's that fourth wave that we're on, and it's time. It's time to join the field. It's time for a shift in career. It's time to, be of service to humanity and help to, there's a lot of darkness in the world that's happening, and it's a critical point, but there's what comes of that is a lot of light. And I think that there's just so many people that are struggling out in the world, and they don't know how to get through that. I was one of those people 8 years ago, and I really see it as a natural part of giving back for all the healing that I received. The work that we do, we really with psychedelics, is we honor that reciprocal relationship. It's not just about, taking a microdose and letting it heal you or fix you or change you. It's about, how can I give and receive to that experience? And being a microdosing facilitator is a way to give back to psychedelics for how much that they help us through helping other people and passing that torch forward. And really creating that network and that web of mycelium that the medicine wants to show us how to do. Like, the medicine wants to experience our consciousness and move through us and expand through us just as much as we want to experience the medicine. So I think, just really approaching the field from that perspective, and not approaching it from the colonizing, what can I get or extract or take from it, but how can I give and receive to the medicine, is really important. And we're excited to know your community members. We're excited to meet you. Thank you so much for the work that you already do with psychedelics and guiding people, and all the incredible space holding and energy that you put into all the work that you continue to do from your heart. We honor you, we respect you. And we, Adam and I were just talking about this yesterday, but we really think it's important for anyone that's guiding others through larger dose experiences to also have a training and understanding of microdosing. It's not just take the microdose and then, go on with your day or use it so unintentionally. The same type of training and framework is really important for microdosing as it is for macrodosing. And we want to, build and collaborate with practitioners that see, the importance of that. And it's also a sustainable career. I've worked as a facilitator for 5 years of larger dose experiences, and it's a lot of energy, and you can't do a journey every single day. So you really do have to have other modalities that you work with to make this, a sustainable career for yourself. So yeah, we see microdosing coaching as a part of what that can look like, and expanding this toolkit and the resources for people that are guides.
Super valid point. And not just like in terms of having, like multiple streams of revenue or different ways of serving the people that you're working with, but microdosing, we know, is often used as an entry point before somebody has a larger dose experience, or as an exiting point after people have a larger dose experience, to prolong the experience and enable more effective integration. So you're
Yeah.
right, like there's definitely a role for microdosing to play, even among guides who are working with higher doses. So all good points.
Yeah, and I find
Okay, go
microdosing
ahead.
I find microdosing extremely special because people get to work with it in their day-to-day lives, right? If you're going to do a large dose journey, you're leaving your day-to-day life, You're planning for it. It's taking days ahead, days after, a full day set aside. But you're not often given tools that are helping you in your day-to-day life when you're at work and you're stressed by one of your coworkers or stressed by your kids spilling the milk at the breakfast table in the morning or just life in general. So microdosing is an incredible adjunct to the large dose experience, both before introducing people safely and effectively to substances like LSD and psilocybin, but also helping them, like you said, integrate that incredible experience into their life and still feel connected to those medicines a couple different times a week as they integrate the process.
Yeah, well, and we want to sustain our learnings too, as opposed to having, right, like a one big transformative experience and then walk away from it. And then it's never become, right, like something that changes us. It goes to your point, Danielle, of, right, like how do we give back? If we've learned things from psychedelics, if we're allowing them to touch us and alter us and make us ideally better, more functional, self-regulated, more compassionate human beings, then how do we make sure that we're giving that back to the world around us? And certainly by modeling that is, right, like that's the only way to create that kind of virtuous circle. So grateful, so grateful to you both.
So well said.
So
I love your words. Yeah,
uh,
you just
thank
are
you.
so
Back at you.
you're a channel. I love it. Love receiving.
Where can people learn more about your program and sign up?
Great question. So right now our website is flowstatemicro.com/microdosing facilitator training. And we also are on Instagram, microdosing facilitator training. We have an email, microdosingtraining@gmail.com. We will have our own flashy new website, in a couple months, but those are the places. You can also find me on Instagram, connect with D. Adam is Flow State Micro on Instagram, and we're also, very accessible by email, and, we're on LinkedIn too.
Awesome. We will post all of those handles and links and all that stuff when we go live, so people will be able to find you easily. And we will do that shortly because your cohort is coming up. Any last parting words before we end for today?
I love that we ended on 12/12.
Uh-huh.
Beautiful time here. And yeah, I just want to say to anyone in your program, like, we want to know you, we want to build with you. We're really excited about the potential of having you join the microdosing facilitator training. And this is a mission from our hearts. This is our sacred work that we absolutely love doing. And we can't wait to weave our consciousness with you and activate this incredible program together. Our teachers are so excited to know you and meet you and build with you as well. So we just want to welcome you to this revolutionary training program. We're so excited to know you and the fractal of impact that we can create together through the microdosing facilitator training.
Thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.